Greetings, groovy geographers, and welcome to spring 2022. My name is Rachel Cunningham. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I will be your instructor for Geography 100, Physical Geography. So this course is going to be an entirely online class. So we will be living in the Zoom box for yet another semester. There are no required in-person meetings at any time, although I do have in-person office hours if you do want to meet me in real life. I promise I'm not a robot, I'm real. This class is also asynchronous, which means that we don't have any set times for meeting online as well either. So everything that you do work-wise will be at your own pace. This is great for those of you who may work a lot of hours, or maybe you're taking care of family members. It's not as much fun if you're like me and you are a procrastinator. So we'll have to do a good job of keeping each other motivated and keeping each other on task. I know I always need help with that. All of your lecture materials will all be done through Canvas, and all of your exams and assignments will all be submitted through Canvas. I have in-person office hours as well as Zoom office hours. So if you need help, if you're not able to come to campus, there are lots of options for you to get a hold of me there. So my hope for this little video here is to kind of give you a run through of our Canvas page, how it's set up, as well as our syllabus to get you set up for the best success for this semester. So let's go ahead and take a look at our Canvas page. Okie doke. So here is our Canvas. Pardon my bazillions of tabs. I am a multitasker for sure. So yeah, all the work that you do for this class will be through Canvas, and this has already gone live. I see several of you have already done your syllabus contract. Thank you so much for that. So how things are set up in this course is through a series of modules. So you'll see there's already a whole bunch of modules pre-populated on your Canvas. There's nothing in them at the moment because we are still at the semester start, and we're still focusing on getting folks set up for our syllabus contract. But as your lessons come live, they'll be found through here, okay? Each lesson consists of a video, much like this one, where I go through some lecture slides, and I also provide the lecture slides as a PDF for you as well. So if you are more of a visual learner, you'll have a video that's going to have graphics and images. You also have the PDF slides that you can refer back to. It'll have vocabulary words and important images. If you're more of an auditory learner, then feel free to play my lovely voice while you're doing dishes, or you can have it going like your new podcast in the background while you drive. Please don't watch the video while you drive, but you can at least listen to it if you are a podcast audiobook type person. So whatever works best for you, that's how you'll access the information. I'll also have the listing for your reading assignments. So this semester we're using Geosystems by Christopherson. It has like this cool like mountain picture on the cover. I don't have mine with me, so I can't show you too. It is a good textbook, and I do recommend you have it if that's a problem for you. There actually are lots of them on campus to rent, to borrow. The library has ones that are free available to check out to borrow. I have some copies you can borrow if you need to. You also can get older versions because the world has not changed that incredibly much since the last edition. So we're using 10th edition for this class, but honestly, you can use, 7th, 8th, 9th. The page numbers will be different, but that's fine. When I write the exams, I write them from the slide material. So when it comes time to studying, the focus should be more on your slides. The textbook is helpful in that because so much of this work is at your own pace, it's kind of your own handy dandy reference guide. So that if you have a question at 2 a.m., please don't call me at 2 a.m. You can refer to your textbook instead. Okay, and then at the end of each of those lecture modules, you will take a practice quiz. This is a little bit different for those of you who've taken online classes before, is that these practice quizzes are not going to be worth points. They are practice quizzes. And so the idea is that they're really short. They're meant to be done in like 10 minutes. And it's just kind of give you an idea of where you're at with the material. So if you, ace the section on earthquakes, and you know that you probably have a good setup for the exam, versus if you really struggle with hurricanes, you need to go back and like review that chapter a bit. So again, no points, but I encourage you to take them to help you check in with where you're at with your studies. Okay, I'll also have other links to interesting articles, interesting videos to supplement your learning, because the world's a pretty cool place and we're only going to cover a small part of it. So any questions you have, of course, let me know as well. Okay, so in our welcome section, we'll have our syllabus go over in a bit. I have some tips and tricks for taking the exam. So our not exams, quizzes rather. So again, they are open book, open note, as all your exams, but this is to help you, you know, kind of get comfortable with the idea of taking this Canvas process. If you want to learn more about my research interests, my bachelor's degree is from UC Davis, so go Aggies, and my master's is from SF State, go Gators. But I also have digital office hours. Let's go ahead and open that up here. So again, if you want to meet in person, my office is in building 12. Da, 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 da. Not this exact room. This is the big common area. I'm actually 140C. I have a much smaller office. I am there on Mondays and Wednesdays if you want to meet in person. Masks are required. If you prefer to do Zoom, which is totally awesome because this is an online class, you'll go ahead and just join the Zoom link here. And that's Tuesdays, 6 to 7 p.m. And I will be here for any questions. I'm also happy to make appointments for anything else that you would like as well. Okay, so other stuff we have here is our campus resources. So if you, you know, the library options, learning center options, this is a popular class. And so if you need help finding a tutor, I don't think we have any geography tutors at the moment, but we're always looking for folks to be geography tutors. If you need access to a hotspot or calculators or Google Chromebooks, our technology support can help you get access to those. I have something else here, an anonymous share out. So the world is in a very difficult place right now. College is stressful, life is stressful, and then we add on top of that pandemic, right? A lot of folks are going through stuff, me included, right? And so this is kind of a place for you. If you have information that you think would be helpful for me to know to make the class more supportive for you, but you don't want to say, hey, Rachel, I want to tell you this thing. Here's a nice anonymous place for you to post that. So if you want to talk about, maybe you have, you're working a lot of hours, or maybe you have test anxiety, or maybe you're unhoused, something that would be good for me to know to put more supports in the class, but you might not feel comfortable telling me yourself. You, of course, always can email me if you want to talk about anything, but here's a nice anonymous spot. I was terrified of my professors when I was in college. So this is kind of a nice, I don't know, we're not all scary, I promise. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at our syllabus. Okie doke. Again, your syllabus contract is due Monday. Please do that. But until then, let's go ahead and take a look at our syllabus. Alrighty, so email is the best way to get a hold of me. Please make sure you put in the whole thing, Cunningham Rachel, because there are a lot of Cunninghams. There's a lot of us, and we're always exchanging our emails back and forth because things get put in the wrong mailbox. But so Cunningham Rachel is the best way to get a hold of me. I check it every day except for weekends. I'm really trying to be better about my own boundaries. So if you email me on Saturday, please understand that you won't get a response until Monday. But that's a great way. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And then also you can message me through Canvas as well. This is a UC and a CSU transferable course that's also required for the Geography Associate's degree, which I know a couple of you in the class are going for, and hopefully more of you will switch your major. If you're taking this for a GE, this is for the physical science GE, talk to your counselor about whether or not you need the lab. Some schools need the lab, some schools don't. It depends on what your major is and what you're transferring in. I do also teach a lab in person, and then Professor Hansel teaches the lab online. And we teach those every semester. So if you don't have room this semester, we'll be here next semester, right? So check with your counselor to see if you need the lab course as well. Okay. Again, we're using Geosystems by Christofferson, who I've actually met in real life. He's very friendly and wears lots of Hawaiian shirts. Again, feel free to use older editions if that's better for you. Our instruction's entirely online, okay? So you don't have to meet with me in person. If you want to, please do come by Building 12. I get lonely. I have a very large tea collection if you like tea. You know, I have some puzzles. I don't know, come hang out, right? And again, you'll have these practice quizzes to prepare you for the exams, right? We have something interesting as class called a selfie field trip, and you don't have to take a selfie, although you're welcome to. It does make it quite fun. But the idea is that geography is all around us, right? It's part of our lives in so many different ways. And this is your opportunity to share how geography is part of your life. And so you'll take concepts from our class. So we have a chapter on rocks and minerals, we have a chapter on plants, a chapter on weather, and you can look at things happening in the world around you and post that as your discussion. So it's not a reading discussion post, it's a real world geography discussion post, okay? So just like you have homework, you know, you have things that you have to get done for this class. I have things that I have to get done for this class too. And these are called student learning outcomes. So if you ever hear a professor use the term SLO or SLO or student learning outcomes, these are the things that I have to make sure that you leave this class in May with these skills. So this is kind of how I get graded. All right. So everything we do in this class feeds back into these 3 goals. And so if you can think of other ways that you think that you'd rather be assessed on these 3 goals, let me know, because we can talk about other ways. You know, if you don't want to do exams, we could do video projects, we could do map projects. There's lots of options we can do in terms of how you show me that you are competent and skilled in these 3 goals, okay? So our first one is analyzing the processes operating both within and between the Earth's natural systems. So we're looking at cycles in the atmosphere, the hydrosphere, the lithosphere, which is going to be our rocks, and our biosphere. So weather systems, ocean currents, all those kind of things, right? And then relate these processes and forces to the distinctive landforms and environments of Earth. So we'll be looking at things both happening right here in the Bay Area, that's where I'm located in Pacifica, or things that we see in other parts of the world as well. Okay, that's my cat. She's very loud. Bella, hush. She wants me to know that it's time to feed her. So we also are going to apply knowledge of how the Earth systems work to predict conditions at different locations. So for example, a very large volcano just went off outside of Tonga, right? So we can look at the conditions around Tonga that we see in the Pacific Ocean, and then use that to predict future volcanoes, of which there are a lot, right? We're going to analyze the interactions between Earth systems and us, the human realm, right? We are not separate from Earth. We like to pretend that we are, that we are very much a part of Earth. And so we're going to be looking at how we interact with it as well. Okay, effective contact statements. So even though we're not going to be hanging out in person, I will be participating in your discussion posts with you. I have some fun photos, and I love seeing the things that people post in terms of maps and weather and volcanoes and whatnot. And then again, anytime, you know, send me an email. I sometimes use the Pronto. It's kind of like a text message through your Canvas. If it's not very popular, but if you like that, you can try that if you want. And also messages through Canvas as well. Okay. Here's the big one. Everyone wants to know, okay, how do I get an A in the class? So here's how you will be assessed. There are 3 exams. They're each worth 50 points, and they are non-cumulative, which means that when you finish one, you know, I'm not going to go back and test your old material. You can also drop your lowest score. So the big goal here is that there are multiple options for you. If you're not feeling good one day, you're just having an off day, it happens, right? I'm also open to other types of testing. So currently we mostly do a lot of this Canvas style, multiple choice, true, false, some short answer questions. Some people love those kind of tests and some people hate them, right? They are timed, they're open book, open note, but they are timed. I have done essay exams. If you prefer to write a prompt about, you know, evolution or about tornadoes, that's awesome. I do have written options as well. And again, if you want to do something like a video project or you want to do like some map projects, feel free to talk with me because I'm really open to ways. Again, it's all about you showing me that you're competent in those 3 goal areas. All right. Your goals are not, your quizzes are not worth any points, but please do take them because they'll prepare you for your exams. Those are your practice exams. Kind of the The final for this class is an environmental justice essay. So we're going to be talking about this concept of environmental justice and what is that and how it impacts our lives. And so we're going to be continuously revisiting this project throughout the semester. So you'll have lots of chances to rewrite drafts, to work on it. So by the end of, May 20th, you have a paper that you're really proud of that can be part of your portfolio, and then you'll get an awesome A+ on, right? I don't give A+, but an A on, right? And then you also will be sharing that with your classmate in the form of you can do it as a PowerPoint. A lot of times people do posters since this is an online class. So if you want to do a recording of yourself doing a presentation, you can. You also can make like a website, a poster to present, to share your work with your classmates, right? Again, your selfie field trips, there's going to be 6 of those. And then we're also going to have a scientist biography, because how many of you can name a real world geographer besides Rachel Cunningham, right? A lot of folks can't name other geographers, or if they do, it's like the same 3 people who write all the textbooks, right? So geographers are actually everywhere, pun intended, right? Without geography, we'd be nowhere. So this is a great project to look at all the different types of geographers there are, all the work that we do, and then who knows, maybe you'll be the next famous geographer that we are researching in future classes. Here's how I do grades. It's pretty straightforward. I don't do pluses and minuses. They get very annoying and messy. This is also flexible, right? We can there's grace if we need to put grace in there. I think that flexibility is the name of the game for this semester. But this is what you should be applying for in terms of your goals for the semester. Okay, so what's expected of you in this class? So just because we are online, this still is a classroom. We're just an online classroom. And I really expect you to keep the classroom as a positive environment, right? This is a bully-free zone. I'm monitoring all the discussion chats. And so please keep that in mind as you're posting things. I want this, number one, to be a safe place, and that all students are welcome in this online classroom, regardless of your identity, how you learn, where you are in your life, right? Everyone's welcome. So that's the idea of a safe space, and also the idea of a brave space. And that if you feel comfortable to kind of challenge yourself to see the world from other people's eyes, right? We are going to be looking at the whole planet in terms of the physical geography side. We're not going to do much in culture, but we're going to see how the ways that humans interact with our physical environment in a lot of different ways. And so sometimes that challenges the way that we previously thought of things, right? And that can be scary and uncomfortable, but that's kind of part of the goal of education too, right? Is that we challenge ourselves to learning something new, and we come out the better and the stronger for it. Okay, I do want to emphasize that in my classroom and on Skyline College campus, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, and both my apartment and the Skyline College campus are on the ancestral land of the Ramaytush Ohlone Band. Okay, accessibility and accommodations. So if you need help with testing anxiety, if you need additional time on exams, if you need a Braille map, and actually I have had other schools make Braille maps for me, or one of those pens that does transcriptions for you, the Educational Access Center is awesome, and they can set you up for all those cool things. If English is not your first language, that's totally, like, you're going to be fine. I do recommend that you at least be eligible for either English 100 or 105. And that's more so that as you're navigating the textbook and the slides, you feel more comfortable with like vocabulary and such. Again, it's not a prerequisite. I just recommend it. I just better setting you up for success. If you are undocumented or any of your loved ones are undocumented, again, this is a safe space. You will never be asked for any documentation. Actually, that's illegal. Your teachers cannot ask you for that. But we also have a great Dream Center on campus. So if you need help navigating immigration law, we do have immigration clinics, law clinics that help us with that, or navigating in paperwork. Definitely contact them to set up some appointments. Okay, acknowledging our sources. So in a previous world, this is where I said the please don't cheat paragraph. But the problem with that is there's this weird expectation in academia that we're all like blank slates and we all just have all these imagined ideas on our own. And that's not really realistic. We are not blank slate. You have come into this classroom with life experiences, and you've learned things from your family, from your community, from your elders. So a lot of other folks contributed to our community of learning. And I think that's the goal here, is acknowledging that it's a community of learning and that learning is collaborative. I'm a big fan of teamwork, right? And so instead of, being worried about, oh my gosh, I'm plagiarizing my papers, think more about like, how do I honor those who have shared their information with me? Because that's really kind of the two big goals about why we have sources and citations and papers. Number one is to respect and pay tribute to those who have given us that idea and shared that gift of knowledge. And number two, because when I'm reading a really cool paper, I'm like, wow, this is really neat. I want to know more. Now I know where to go look for that, right? Those are kind of the two big goals of why we do citations and papers. And again, your grandmother is a source, right? Your community elder is a source. Your pastor is a source. We learn so much from our community, and those are all legitimate things, especially since a lot of our work in this class is going to be much about environmental and community interactions, right? So much more open and acknowledging, again, the collaborative nature of knowledge production. All right. Mental health support is a big one for me. I'm very open about the fact that I myself have an anxiety disorder. And so I am the first person to say, visit our counseling center. We have free confidential counseling here on campus, and I can introduce you to some of the counselors if you'd like that kind of warm send off. Like I said, the world is very stressful right now. And so, take care of yourself, because that makes you better able to take care of your loved ones as well. Okay. And then our exam schedule here, or our just assignment schedule, I have it broken up by week. So again, every week you'll take 1 to 2 quizzes with your lecture topic. And then I have due the dates. We have things like selfie posts and the biography and so on and so forth. Okay. So it's a pretty straightforward thing there in terms of what the schedule is for that. Okay. Any questions, drop me an email. I'm looking forward to working with all of you this semester, and have a great one. Take care.